friends. Welcome to the Putting You Back Together Again show. I'm Rochelle Booker, aka Coach Ro.
And I'm CJ Joseph, CEEJAY, her part-time co-host. I'm back in the building, y'all. Rochelle, Coach Ro, what we gonna put down tonight?
Okay. Oh well, hold on to your seats because this is going to be an exhilarating ride, guys.
Whoa.
Today we're talking about shacking up. If you don't get a proposal, will you shack up? Or are you already in that situation of shacking up and you're still waiting for him to put a ring on it,
Tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock.
Yes. Time is ticking. My show is a faith-based program, and CJ and I always intertwine biblical scriptures with our topics. In addition, we like to use research to validate the points we're making.
Yeah.
So to that point, I came across Dr. Laura's commentary on this subject matter, and she said, let me get to it. She said that couples who shack up before marriage are more likely to divorce, experience domestic violence, have sexual and emotional problems, and be involved in affairs. Although you don't have to shack to do all of that, but that does sometimes make it even worse and make it more likely. Yeah. And she goes on to say that the myth couples use to justify shacking up is that by living together before marriage, they can test drive the car and have a more satisfying and longer lasting marriage. Yes. But it's just the opposite.
Well, and before you continue, a woman or a man, but in most cases a woman in this situation is not a car.
That's right. So
go ahead.
Yeah, so you don't need to be test driving anything. No. That's right. You do that at the dealership.
Yeah, wherever you find your.
Yeah, not in a relationship, at the dealership. I know what you were going to say. And then she goes on to say, people shack up because they are skittish about commitment. Imagine that. And therefore more likely to call it quits when problems arise. So we're going to talk about some of the reasons why people shack up, the reasons why not to do it, and some helpful tips at what you can do instead of shacking up.
Exactly. Yeah, or as it's now been coined as cohabitation.
Yes.
We call it shacking.
I don't even say up, I just say shacking.
Yeah. And, many people would go that route. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's because of financial reasons. One can save money on something, but studies have shown, the Pew data has shown actually, that for those who do not have a college education, they really don't save as much as those with college education when they do cohabitate or shack up.
That's right. That's true.
Yeah. So there's really no savings in that area, but there's a lot of the peeling with this onion we're going to do.
Yes, we are going to do so. We are going to jump into it and take a deeper dive. So the reasons not to shack up, which some are pretty obvious, you lose objectivity to determine if this person is actually the best match for you. And you just drift into marriage. If you do make it to that point, you just kind of drift into it.
But
you just
someone. Well, here's the deal. From a male perspective, if you're shacking up, most likely it's not going to lead to marriage.
Yeah, that's what
I'm just telling you, ladies. Most likely, it's not going to lead to marriage, and you'll be waiting while the one that you need to marry is somewhere in the winds waiting for you.
That's right.
So most likely, it won't lead to marriage.
It's not going to happen. I mean, it's probably less than a 20% chance. It's very low. The likelihood is very low. But so many women still have that expectation because they figure, well, we'll draw closer to one another. We'll enhance our sexuality, our intimacy, because we're seeing each other on a day-to-day basis now. That means nothing.
It doesn't. And let me just say this. You mentioned the woman, because most times it's everything falls on the woman, right? And most times that the woman is holding on to hope, holding on to hope, a belief that he'll come around. Now, if a man is telling you he is who he is and basically showing you,
believe it.
Believe it.
Yes.
Or if a woman, men,
either way,
is telling you who she is, believe it. Okay?
Yep.
But as far as Jesse Jackson, the Reverend Jesse Jackson ran for president, I think, in 1984 for the 84 election. And his mantra was keep hope alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
No. Yeah, don't put your hope in that. Don't put your faith in that. Put your faith in God and your hope in God.
My hope is built on nothing less
than Jesus' blood.
Okay? So, don't.
And righteousness.
Don't go with that.
Don't go with that. Yeah. So, exactly. So you're spot on with that. So number 2 is the reasons not to shack up. You may not get support from your extended family because they may not be in agreement with your cohabitating situation. And also, the research shows that your extended family, you want your family to treat your boyfriend or girlfriend, your living boyfriend or girlfriend, like that person is family when they're really not family, because you guys haven't made it official by getting married. And so there's sometimes fallout and friction in the family as a result of that.
Especially if they don't like him or her already.
Yeah. So that's not going to make it any better.
Yeah. So you getting off on the wrong foot already.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. So shacking is really not all it's cracked up to be. Let's just keep it real, right?
Yeah.
Be honest. And so when we talk about financial benefits, I mean, you split the bills. So from a short-term perspective, that might be beneficial.
Yeah.
50-50 on the bills, but so that might work short-term. But
well, here's what I will say: if you're going to, and this I'm diving ahead, it's a tad bit, but have a plan before you do it. Have a plan, right? You're talking about splitting the bills 50-50. No, put it in writing, right? Put it in writing. So when old boy, because I'm telling you, it's not going to be. Sorry, brothers. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the lady. Put it in writing. So when he comes up, oh, I thought no. It says it right
here in writing. 50,
right here.
Pay up. Where's the money?
So have a plan. If you're going to do it, have a plan.
Yeah.
One of the things that with shacking up, there's an economic issue. I mean, there have been plenty of studies. It opens a person up to serious financial consequences if the relationship ends. And basically there's protections that legal marriage will give you that the shacking up marriage won't. Although
Evelyn, our wonderful attorney that came on our show,
family law,
family law, about a month ago, talked about divorce and the whole aspect of living together, and of you don't have to be married for 2 years to be considered common law.
Nope.
So remember, she said, I thought it was 2 years too, but she educated both of us, and actually, so that's not even the case.
Yeah.
So there is still some bit of protection, which most people aren't even aware of. So I'm glad you brought that point up.
Well, that's in Texas. But if you're tuning in from Florida, like some people, or Alabama, we've had people tuning in from all over. Yeah, you need to check the state laws.
Yeah, because it's different in every state.
It's different in every state.
So make sure you're covered.
Yes.
That's a good point. So we talked about that, and convenience and ease of the situation. It's easier to get in and out of it.
It really is, because you don't have any. One of the disadvantages I was going to say is you don't have any skin in the game.
That's right.
Right, because if you wanted to just giddy up and leave,
you can do.
You can, but in a marriage situation, now you can, but there's some consequences.
That's right.
There's some. You got skin in the game. You got property in the game. You got assets in the game.
Yeah.
So it makes a big difference in that regard. but there's also a level of protection
Yeah.
as well that you have in the game.
That you have in the game. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So that's good. Yeah. So, and then in a marriage situation, you typically have an exit strategy versus if you're just living with somebody, you just might wake up one morning and say, I'm leaving, I'm out of here. I'm sick of this.
Like, what my toothpaste?
Yeah.
He took my toothpaste.
It took to everything, right? And I'm not sure, you probably know, since you are a music enthusiast, you may have heard of Barbara Mason.
Nice. Talk to me.
She made it plain in her song entitled Shacking Up. And Barbara said in her song, Shacking Up. Okay, we'll get to that. She said, if we want our freedom, we don't have to pay to be free if we're shacking up.
Well,
That is so true.
yeah, right, exactly. We got a comment.
Yeah. All right. So official 45J, the Bible is the Bible for sure, and I love God. But why would I wait till to find out how someone loves versus before you get married and find out that partner and some stuff you don't like?
Well, that's a great point. That's
Yeah.
a great point. I can assure you, there will be some things that you don't like about your partner that you find out.
Yeah.
Little things
When you start living with them.
when you're married and now living with them day in and day out, right? However, the bigger things should be revealed prior to. Now, there are going to be some things that you'll be able to tolerate, and there's going to be some things that you're not able to tolerate. So you got to find that level of tolerability, right? So yeah, but
That's right. And then to add to that point is when you're dating, okay, if you, instead of rushing into a marriage or moving in with someone, that's why you stretch it out to really be able to get to know that person, because sometimes people are wearing a mask, and we're not talking about the N95 mask.
Oh yeah.
I mean, so you know what I'm saying? Back to your point about when people show you their true ways, believe it. So so sometimes you do see those red flags in the beginning when you're dating. Don't ignore them.
Yeah,
yes.
You will see signs. Pay attention to the signs.
That's right.
Because they will reveal themselves.
They sure will.
They certainly will. But now, again, however, when you're in a marriage and there are some things that you don't like, talk to your spouse.
Yeah.
That's what communication, which is key to any foundational relationship. Talk to your spouse and resolve that issue. Now, you have to compromise as well. You do have to have some level of compromise in that marriage or marital situation.
And that's right. And are you equally yoked before getting into it? You can't realize after the fact. I mean, so there's some things you guys have to have a solid foundation going into the marriage. Yeah, there are going to be some things he doesn't like about you, and some things you don't like about that person. None of us are perfect, and none of us are going to fully satisfy that other person.
No,
right?
Not at all.
So only God can fulfill us 100%.
Because I'll tell you, there are some things about my bride, but is it tolerable? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But are there some things that I compromise? Absolutely.
Yeah, you have to.
Absolutely. We got a comment.
Another comment. Yeah. Official 5J. Oh, or just not as clean as you and I love God though. Okay. So yeah, back to our love for God and well, so we have a love for God. So, we have to do what the word of God is telling us to do too, and that's to be obedient.
Yes.
If we know fornication and shacking up and all that is not pleasing to God, then we may not want to do that, right? Because we want God's favor to be on us. We want God to bless us. And so blessings follow obedience. Now,
if someone may say, well, shacking up or cohabitation is not in the Bible.
Well, fornication is. So you're not living with someone and not touching them.
Well,
I don't know about that. Are you living? Because that
probably not.
That increases your desire.
Probably not.
When you're laying next to someone.
But it is not in the Bible. It's not in the Bible. Excuse me. However, the institution of marriage is. So if God has the love of the institution of marriage, obviously it's against cohabitation and shacking up, right? So they may say it's not in the Bible, but marriage is.
Yeah. So, and that's the sacred covenant,
Yes.
that we have in place.
Right.
To fulfill the scripture, or to fulfill God's promises for us, we have to do what the word of God says. We can't just read the word and not do the word.
Well, and we'll miss the mark.
We'll miss the mark.
But
grace and mercy.
Grace and mercy.
Thank God.
However, you want to miss the mark less than more.
Yeah. So we just know living together can
Yes.
create some other issues that you obviously don't want to bring into the relationship. So why don't we do it in a healthy, balanced way? Everything is about balance. And I was going to get into this later, but also you want to go through some premarital counseling too. So even before you get married, that's really important. The path, I call it the path to marriage. There's some things that you should put in place.
Oh, absolutely. But we know that those who are going to be shacking up, they're not doing it. They're not.
Forget it.
Well, honey, I think we need to go to our pastor and but we're not getting married. We're just moving in.
Well, yeah.
So you're not going to be doing that, right? It is. I mean, it's good in theory, but that won't happen.
Yeah,
that won't happen. Now, one of the things too is the disadvantages is less responsibility, which leads back less skin in the game.
Yeah.
So you have less responsibility to that person. So because when you're married, you are committing to that person, right? And you can move in and say, yeah, we're committed in a committed relationship. That's fine and dandy. But once you swap vows and put it on legal paper, legal tender, it makes a difference in your level of commitment and your level of responsibility. Increases dramatically.
That's right. Yeah.
Definitely.
It really does. And it has to be, we have a comment?
I have a question.
Yes.
Brother Mountain, the producer, has a question. Talk to us.
I hear you guys loud and clear.
Okay.
I hear the message, but I have to play devil's advocate.
Why not play angel's advocate?
I'll play angel's advocate.
Thank you.
I'll play angel's
advocate. Because the devil is a lie.
The devil is a lie. We'll play angel's advocate for a second. And I will ask, now, I hear the word communication. I hear the word agreement. I hear the word understanding a lot.
Right.
So what if you go into the relationship and it is not just shacking up or in a relationship, it is a domestic partnership? Can you still not shack up, so to speak, and make it work?
Well, either you're married or you're not.
Yes.
So okay, wait a minute. You just threw something on me. So I want to make sure I get clarification. Okay. What do you mean by domestic relation? You said domestic partnership. What is that?
Basically, you're going into the relationship with the understanding that we are here to support each other. We're here. It's just like being married. We may be moving towards marriage. We haven't had that conversation. Some people haven't. Some people have. So I'm speaking for both.
And are they in that domestic partnership? Are they living together?
They're living together.
They're shacking.
So
shacking. You're trying to put another name, a label on it. It's shacking.
No, I'm not trying to put anything on it. If you look at some of the paperwork that's floating around, they will ask you, are you married, separated, widowed, in a domestic partnership, in a relationship? Are you separated?
Okay. So are you're saying on applications or things of that nature that you apply for a loan or whatever the case may be?
No, I'm saying if the banks and other institutions can put that name on it, domestic partnership, why can't we and make it work?
Okay, I see what you're saying.
It's a business. It's a business and it's a relationship.
No, time out. That is corporate America having another terminology on what it means to cohabitate, aka shack up. That's all that is. That's all. Is nothing different with the domestic partnership because of now I will say domestic partnership comes into play because of same sex. That's where that really came into play, right? It's because of same sex. So that's the corporate America terminology of cohabitation, living together, shacking up.
Yeah.
They all are the same.
Yeah, same level. It's all
they're all the
equal.
same.
Yeah.
If you're just joining us on the Putting You Back Together Again show with Coach Rochelle and CJ Joseph, we are talking about shacking up. If the proposal doesn't come, will you shack up? Or are you shacking up right now? So give us a call and let us know either where you stand, where you're at. Have you ever shacked up? Are you shacking up now? Give us a call at
and how's it working for you?
560-2885. That's 832-560-2885. If you can't
Yes.
call in, chime in. Talk to us. We want to hear from you. So now, any more disadvantages?
Well, I was going to mention back to that point about, I guess legalities and, to the producer's question, if you were working, I guess in corporate America or whatever job you have that offers you benefits, I'm not so sure that you could get your live-in boyfriend or live-in girlfriend covered and added to your insurance policy if you guys are not legally married.
That's a different topic.
So, well, no, I'm just saying it kind of ties into that, because if we're talking about domestic partnerships and we're like, hey, we're living together, we're intending possibly talking about marriage, maybe somewhere down the road, that still doesn't, it's not going to help you with getting the benefits that you may want for your
No.
girlfriend or boyfriend to be covered.
No, they can't.
Yeah.
They can't, depending upon the company.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on the company, because if the company says, okay, they may have parameters. If you are living with this person in a domestic partnership,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't, and they may say, well, if you've been living with them for a
I think
year
it
or
has to
something
be,
like that. So
formalized.
but again, that's the corporate.
Yeah.
Now, every company will not offer that.
Yeah.
Right. But some of your larger corporations will.
Because no company I've worked for has. So my point is that might be another reason why people are saying, hey, if we're enjoying all the benefits of just shacking, then why do we need to get married? So I'm just kind of doing another contrast and comparison to why people may think it's okay just to shack instead of just moving into the full-blown covenant of marriage. So let's just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
The other reason why people shack, and we kind of talked about that financial viability and the economic, benefits.
Yeah, and then another little wrinkle,
Uh-huh.
and not necessarily little.
Uh-huh.
Depending on, and we're assuming, right?
Yeah.
We're assuming that these two people that are shacking up have no children.
Mm-hmm. It affects the children.
When you have children,
Yeah.
there's a psychological piece to it for the kids. So you also have to be careful in that regard as well. I mean, really, ladies, because most ladies will have custody of the kids. Not saying that the men who do not, but more often than not, the ladies will have custody of the kids. You just have to be careful when you bring around your kids.
That's right.
Really
or
good.
even if you are having kids from the person that you're living with, you may not have any kids outside of that. And so you guys start having all these kids together, like, oh yeah, it'll just fall into place. Not necessarily. That's making it even easier for him to leave, right?
I'm telling you.
That is not, I used to hear that growing up. Oh, she tried to trap him. I used to hear guys saying that, oh, she tried to trap me by having all these kids. It's like,
well, hold up now.
Yeah.
Wait, that's another
I don't know about that. I don't know about that because you were a willing participant too.
Yeah.
So how is someone trying to trap you?
Yeah.
But anyway, we do have to make sure that it's having a positive, creating a positive environment to raise our children. Yeah, that's very important.
Yeah. Now, some may say, we already talked about this as far as driving the car. Some of the advantages could be to learn more about that person. Well, if you date that person long enough, have different situations around family, around friends, et cetera, you will start to learn about that person, especially when there is time of negativity or something that shifts, that tests their character. The real person will come out, right?
Yeah.
So to learn about that person, well, yeah, you can learn about that person without living with them. But will you learn some new things when you live with them after marriage? Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I listened to one young lady. She mentioned that they were engaged before they moved, they were living together while engaged.
Mm-hmm.
That's a different level too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because the man has already committed,
Mm-hmm.
went and purchased a ring,
Mm-hmm.
went through the saying, will you marry me? Maybe went through a situation where he brought roses or dinner or some type of event to propose to you publicly.
Yeah.
Propose to you. That's why when you exchange vows, there has to be witnesses, because you're declaring to the public that he is now mine and I am now.
Well, that's his.
Right.
That's right.
So,
that's right.
So yeah, you gotta be careful in that.
Yeah, but then how many people who are engaged wind up not going through with it, wind up not, getting married.
Well, yeah.
And then you have that issue with the man wanting his ring back and the woman wanting to keep the ring. But that's not a guarantee either. It's not solidified and final until you both exchange vows and say, I do.
Right.
So yeah, you can be engaged, have the ring, the bling bling, because we just said put a ring on it, but that's still not going all the way to the finish line with I do.
No.
And now I pronounce you man
and wife.
That's
right. Husband and wife.
Husband and wife.
Yeah, husband and wife. Another advantage that someone had mentioned is, I thought this was kind of funny, the joint ability to problem solve. So when you shack up or cohabitate, it gives you the ability, more strength to have the joint ability to problem solve. Or you can do that too outside.
I know, living in your own separate homes. Like, why do you have to live together to resolve conflict? Yeah. Now, I can see it resolving conflict maybe when it comes to budgeting.
Yeah.
But you can do that and not live together.
Yeah, you really can. You really can. You really can.
So yeah, and Dr. Laura also said that if you shack up, you're basically saying that your future marriage isn't valuable enough to be worth waiting and making tough sacrifices for. Wow, that was a good comment there.
Because truly, if there was value, you want to publicly have that value.
Exactly.
You want to make sure you legally have that value.
Legally.
Right, have that value. Coach Rowe.
Yes.
Have you ever shacked up?
I plead the fifth.
Hold on now.
Actually, yes, I did. When I was much younger, in my 20s, with my children's father.
Okay, so now did he move in with you, or did you move in?
Oh, we moved in together.
We moved in together.
Yes.
Okay, because another thing there could be is if the man is moving in with the woman.
Oh yeah, no, I don't do that.
Ladies, if he has less than you, that this is. I learned this from an older woman. If he has less than you and want to move in, don't do it.
Don't do it. Because he's gonna take you to the cleaners.
Don't.
And I'm not talking about Pilgrim's cleaners.
Yeah, don't do it. Right. Now, I personally have shacked up myself.
You shacked up too?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Tell us about it.
Can you? But listen, she didn't want to tell us about her.
But I did. I opened up.
She said, "Oh no, I plead the fifth."
Yeah.
I even told you who it was with. Who did you shack up with?
Well, I'm not going to reveal the name. No, really, I'm not going to reveal the name. It was many years ago.
It's not your wife.
No. Many years ago, when was I still in the Navy? I think I still, maybe I at least was reserved. But anyway, she moved in with me.
Oh, okay.
And she moved in with me. She had some situations, and she had 2 kids.
Oh, really?
And I pray that the kids are doing wonderful, great kids, great, beautiful kids. And she moved in with me. And I learned some things.
Yeah.
I learned some things. One thing I really learned is
you don't want to be a stepdaddy.
Well, no. I mean, again, that brings a different dynamic.
Sure
we just talked about that, having kids around, right? It especially when the father is still involved in the kids' lives. It just creates a different dynamic and different trauma.
And the same thing can happen if y'all are living together.
Same thing
He
can happen.
can
if you're
bring
living together.
drama. He or she can bring drama. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it depends on their relationships too.
Yeah, and it didn't really end well,
Oh, it did.
right? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. I think I did it twice.
You did. You shacked up twice with 2 different women.
I think. I have to go back on my memory on that. It could be
More
twice.
than twice.
It could be twice.
That you remember.
Yeah, that I remember.
Oh.
Listen, I was in the Navy. Okay.
Did y'all do DNA tests with any of your babies? They weren't your kids though.
Oh no, we don't play that. No. There was Cookie,
There was a cookie
but nonetheless, comma. It didn't really end well.
with neither one of them.
Well, I won't. I can't speak on the second one because I don't know for sure, because the lines can get blurred if you're spending so much time at that person's house, but you still have your own place, right? And that's another reason that people may shack up. Well, you know, we already spending so much time
together.
over here.
That's right.
Why don't just move in? Yeah, things. I'm telling you, ladies, it would change. It would change, and it changed on me.
It changed on you.
With the woman moving in.
But what about the flip side of it? The man asked the woman to move into his place. But wait a minute, ladies, because he could get tired of you and want to kick you out, and then you're out on the street. So
check
I wouldn't do that.
Check your state laws.
That's right. I wouldn't do that either. But if he doesn't take you out in public or speak to people about you potentially being his wife, so you've got to do some things in order to show and prove that situation of common law. So it's just, it can get real complicated.
Yeah.
But you don't want to be homeless, so make sure you always have something to fall back on.
Even this I say young lady, she's a senior, but I say young lady just because it's respectful. She mentioned that if the lady does have a place where she is living and move in with the guy, with the man, don't give up your place. Yeah, don't give up your place.
Yeah, that's
Maybe
what I'm saying.
Rent it out,
have something to
lease
fall back
it,
on.
or something like that.
Don't sell your
don't
house.
Sell it.
Don't do it.
Don't sell it.
Because you are not on his deed, so he can easily kick you out.
That's right. That's right. Now, a 2024 Forbes Advisor survey indicated that 34% of shacking up, cohabitation, however you want to put it, end in divorce for couples who live together prior to engagement, compared to only 22% who wait.
Oh, wow.
So that's a big difference.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's a big difference. So
the key thing is wait.
Wait.
And the Bible says in Philippians, be not anxious for anything. Y'all, Apostle Paul said that. Be not anxious for anything.
Yeah.
So what's wrong with waiting?
Well, I'm gonna tell you why. It's because our hormones.
Yep, that's true.
The hormones gets in the way. Right?
Yeah.
It is what it is.
It is. That's the truth.
It is what it is. The hormones get in the way.
And on fire.
Yes.
Well, and that's why we have to have that fruit of the spirit of self-discipline. And it's hard. It is really hard. I mean, like I told you guys, you know, I'm an open book, and I make myself.
Oh, now
I make myself vulnerable. I'm very vulnerable.
Hold on, you just plead the fifth attack and bring it out.
But like I said on our show 2 weeks ago, I've been practicing celibacy.
Yeah.
So I've been celibate for a long time now.
How many years?
And so a long time.
How many years?
We're talking double digit.
Whoa.
So this topic is kind of getting me a little hot here. This is a hot summer love series, right?
Yeah, this is a hot summer love series.
Final.
And we're wrapping it up with a hot summer love series.
Our final chapter, final installment. So there's nothing wrong with practicing celibacy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna take it all the way to that level, right? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with waiting till he puts a ring on it? Yeah. What's wrong with that? We don't wait anymore these days. We don't even like that word waiting.
Well, I mean,
we have this microwave society.
We want instant gratification.
Now.
Yeah, instant gratification. And I can tell you, being an actor, there's a difference between TV and stage, right? Or TV, film, and stage. On TV and film, you have to wait to get that gratification.
Mm.
Now, it may happen because you're in the moment while you're filming and you know what have you, but
Mhm.
on stage, it's a different
Mm.
adrenaline
Is it?
because I can play off the audience and what
Right.
they're giving me of what I'm giving to them.
Right.
It's that instant gratification
Yeah.
that cannot be duplicated or replicated or replaced.
Oh, you
right?
feel a different level of
Yeah, I
energy.
feel a different level
Wow.
of energy. It really is. And you have to bring that every single time you step on the stage.
Mm.
So we live in a society where we
Yeah.
want it now. We
Now.
don't want to wait.
Mm-mm.
We don't. Why you think the lottery has millions of dollars pumped into it? Because we don't want to wait and invest to let that money grow. We want it now.
No, no, do the annuity. If you win the lottery, do an annuity. Don't get it all now.
Yeah, don't get it all now. Don't get it
Yeah,
all
but
now.
people have a tough time waiting.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's you know, but that's why sometimes God tests us in different areas,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to patience. I don't want the patience of Job though. Look, I do not want to be Sarah. Wait till I'm 80 and okay, that's enough of that. So now let's talk about the best ways to deal with this as far as what are some other things we can do besides shacking? How can we avoid, in other words, how can we avoid shacking? And one way is to test your compatibility for marriage and reduce your chances of divorce is to don't have sex until you're married. And we just talked about that.
Well, I mean, you know,
Waiting.
listen, again, that's great in theory and great in biblical theory too. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But society and we just talked about the hormones, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to want to wait. And so I'm giving the more secular pieces of stuff today. You want to make sure that
You're
You're
compatible
compatible
sexually. So you want some sexual healing. So
Right.
wait a minute, we just talked about your mate is not a car. You can't test drive your car.
you can't test drive the car.
You might need to put a little oil in it.
Yeah.
It might be a little dry, but
Woo, don't let it be dry. Don't let it be dry. That's why I like my meat dark.
you don't like it rare.
Don't-
Look, oh my goodness, this is getting a little heated.
Yeah.
Do we have any more comments?
Yes.
They're very, very quiet tonight.
Very quiet.
They're
But listen,
A lot of
be
them may
quiet,
be
good people.
shacking. Yeah.
Give us a call. We're talking about shacking up. If the proposal doesn't come, will you shack up, or are you shacking up right now? Holla at us like you know us. Give us a call at 832-560-2885. That's 832-560-2885. Give us a shout and let us know what your thoughts are.
And this is a safe space, like we say. We are
Yeah.
not being judgmental.
No,
Hey,
not at all.
CJ and I have made ourselves vulnerable.
Not at all. Not at
You
all.
know,
I mean, because truly, some people are learning some things about me on this radio show that they've been never.
including me.
Yeah.
And I'm his show wife, so I didn't say that right, but his radio talk show wife. And so there's a lot of things I didn't know about you. Well, vice versa, a lot of things you didn't know about me.
Yeah.
See?
Now, the one thing I will say this,
Yes.
and this is directly to the ladies, and this is a quote from Steve Harvey himself.
Oh, okay. I love Steve Harvey.
He says, "You have to let a man see what he can get, but you have to make him imagine what he can have.
That's right.
So let him see some things,
Yes, not everything.
but not everything, but let him
Yes.
imagine
Yes.
what he can have if there's going to be a commitment,
That's right.
right?
That's good.
So, and he also, and this is an old adage, I don't typically use this, but he said it on this particular show at this time, where having the cow,
Yeah. That's
right?
right. Yeah.
Having the cow,
Uh-huh.
but not paying for the milk.
That's right. Why? They can
Right.
get the milk for free.
You can get the milk for free.
So come on now.
So, and basically the women, you have all the power.
And ladies, why are you giving your power away?
Yeah, don't give the power
Your
away.
body is God's temple.
I'm telling you.
So
I'm telling you.
maximize that and treasure that and make them work for it.
Now, I will say
And I don't mean that in a negative way.
this comes with maturity, not only
It does.
age-wise, but
Spiritual
also spiritual
maturity.
maturity.
Yeah.
because the 25-year-old me, the 35-year-old me won't be saying some of the stuff I'm saying now.
That's
because
right.
you know
He was test driving all kind of cars.
whip it, whip it, whip it.
And he was trading in cars left and right,
So
fully loaded,
but you have to
unloaded.
you have to get the maturity, that spiritual maturity and that wisdom that comes with life as you continue to live. Now, and we talked about divorce. I want to play a clip from Judge Toller, divorce court. Take a look at this great advice that she was giving to one of the persons that was in her courtroom.
Oh my goodness.
Because she was shacking up with her man, but they
Wow.
had to go to divorce court
For divorce.
to settle some things.
Oh wow.
Malcolm, you got that clip ready for us, brother?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm gonna need 5, 4, 3
Here we
seconds.
go.
Okay.
Y'all ready?
Yes.
We'll be right back, everybody. This
Let
is
it
another
roll.
edition of the Putting You Back Together Again show. We'll be right back.
I were you, and this is just me, I'd break camp. You love this thing, you gonna have to work for it. I ain't coming back till I got a ring. I don't believe in that shacking up business. That's just you to me. If you were my daughter, I'd have a U-Haul at your house when we left here.
She was spot on with
Yes,
that.
that's coming from your honor. Okay? So even when you're shacking up, that just basically gave us a great display that you still have to go to court.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And really, and again, I'm not sure what state the young lady
Yeah.
was in and things like that. That can come into play because again, we don't know what those state laws were.
Right.
But her advice was,
Don't do it. And see, yeah, it can create all kinds of entanglements.
Yes.
So, you got to be careful with that.
You really do. You really do. And if I had to look back on it with my shacking up situation.
Which one? The first one?
Well, I only had one officially.
Oh.
I only had one officially. You're trying to give me like 4 and 5.
You said you had 2?
No, I didn't. I said maybe.
Oh.
But officially.
Oh.
It was a different situation.
Uh-huh.
It was different because, she was trying to, have a safe haven.
Yeah.
From the situation she was in for her kids. So,
right.
you got Uncle CJ.
Yeah.
Uncle CJ got a soft spot for the kids. So, but
He thought they were his.
no,
I'm joking.
No, not at all. And so, yeah,
So how did it play out? I mean, did you guys live together for a while, a few years?
I would think maybe 2 years.
Oh,
perhaps.
that was a long time.
Yeah, it was
And you got attached to the kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the kids were great.
Oh, wow.
Kids were absolutely great. I hope they're doing wonderful. I hope they're just succeeding in life and doing all that they can. And I hope that she's doing well too. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it was just a different type of circumstance. We use the word circumstance on that. But you still have to be careful.
You have to be careful.
Because
that's true.
Things can take a turn, can take a pivot.
Oh, that's true.
And you find yourself in this entanglement
Oh,
or
my
other
goodness.
situation that you just rather not be in.
Yeah. You're not even married and you're dealing with all this drama. Really? If I'm gonna deal with some drama, which I'm a drama-free person, I'd at least be married. To your point, have some skin in the game.
Yeah, have some skin in the
Yeah,
game.
drama and you're not even married.
Yeah.
No, ladies, don't do it. And number 2 is date for at least 1 year before you get engaged.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes a lot.
advice.
Now, before we got married, off and on, 9 years.
Was it 9 years?
Yeah,
Wow.
off and on 9 years. And I'm certain there were still things we learned
Oh, I'm sure.
after we got married. But again, our situation was different because we got married when we was in different states.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we were different states. So that was a different situation.
Yeah.
But I can't, it was just different altogether, but in a good way.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with how we did it, but it was just different. But 9 years before we actually got married.
Yeah.
And we still learn some things.
Yeah.
We're still learning some
You're
things
still,
about each
even
other
after
14 years later.
So you never really, because you never
Yes.
stop growing. You continue to grow and learn new
Yes.
things. Yeah.
But that's where communication comes in,
Yes.
where you need to have that wonderful foundation of
That's right.
communication.
It's got to be
You
foundational.
have to have that communication foundation will help build a long-lasting relationship. Or
Mhm.
help you see the light and say, I got to go.
That's right.
I got to go.
Yeah, this ain't working. Boy,
Yeah, this
bye.
ain't working.
Girl, bye.
Yeah.
And so you want to grow together. Otherwise, you'll be growing apart. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, and number 3 is participate in we talked about this, participate in structured premarital, if that's what you guys want to do. And that's got to be a mutual decision. See,
Yeah.
that's another thing. People want to jump into these situations of living together, hoping you can convince and change the other person's mind, which is most of the time it's the woman trying to change the man's mind about marriage.
And
You
listen,
can't do
you
it.
can't do it. Even on something so simple as, let's say if a guy met a woman in a club and she had on this banging outfit,
Mhm.
showing some things, right? Giving you a little old taste of honey, right? And you all start dating, start hitting it off, and then things get serious.
Yeah.
But then you, as the man, said, "Well, can you put on something different?
See?
Can you?" But
when you met me,
you met her.
yeah, this is how I dress. Now you got a problem with
Now
it.
you got a problem with it. So if you can't deal with it initially,
Mhm.
don't deal. You may not be able to deal with it later on down the road.
That's true. Because
Right.
sometimes people do try to change you. And sometimes that comes across as control and manipulation.
Yeah.
So, we all change in our own way, but
We
you
do.
still have to be true to yourself.
We
Be
do.
who you are.
Yeah.
You can't let someone jump in and say, oh, I don't like how you dress. I don't like that. Then it's your makeup. Then it's your hair. And it's going to change your whole identity.
Yeah.
So you don't want
Yeah.
that.
Never go into a situation where you're keeping hope alive,
Yeah,
and you're thinking, well, I can change him.
that's
I
right.
can change him.
Her, yeah,
Don't do that.
don't do it.
Let them change for themselves,
Mhm.
and not you or you trying to force change on them. Because most times it doesn't work.
No, it
It
doesn't.
doesn't work. So
Uh-uh.
be weary and leery of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it just leads to a destructive path. And
It
you get
does.
frustrated, and then that creates all kinds of drama
It
and
does.
issues. But
It
then sometimes women, we're just going to keep it real, will allow the man to kind of break them. And so they become broken because they love this man so much, they will just tolerate it and allow that.
Ladies, you are the prize.
Yeah,
Never forget that.
exactly.
You are the prize. There may be some situations where there's been an athlete, a high-powered attorney, high-powered doctor
Yeah.
may be the prize. Ladies,
Mm-mm.
you are the prize.
That's right.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you. I'm
Yeah.
telling you what I know, not what I heard.
Mhm.
You are the prize.
Yeah.
Treat yourselves as such,
Mm-hmm.
as the queens that you
Oh,
are.
that's right. Straighten your crown and wear your crown
Yes.
boldly,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So, it's
Yes.
dating has just really changed. It's become so complicated.
I mean, just watching TV is
Even I know, and all these reality shows and all the drama, even around that.
yeah.
But speaking of that, like celebrities, so many of them are shacking up. They're in and out of relationships, in and out, and people are following them and trying to live their lives, emulate these celebrities. No,
I mean,
you're gonna emulate somebody, emulate Christ.
Yeah, the announcement of we're no longer together. We're separated, we're still legally married, but you're already knee deep in another relationship.
In another relationship.
So, well, who was it that called in when we had the other topic, and she said you have to wait.
Oh, Manny, Miss Manny.
Miss Manny.
Yes.
Yeah. Take Miss Manny's advice.
She
5 years for every 1 year.
for every. Was it every 1 year?
Every
5
1
years.
year,
Yeah.
5 years for every 1 year. We know that's not going to happen, but at least attempt to try it out.
Yeah, at least try. I mean, we just got to talking about don't rush into anything.
No.
don't be anxious for anything. What's wrong with just getting to know someone? Now, on the flip side of that, because people, after 3 or 4 or 5 years, you should know whether or not you want to marry that person. And because now some people, some women in particular, are feeling like they have to give them an ultimatum. So we didn't really touch on that. So let's say the woman is doing everything she should be doing. They haven't lived together. And so she's like, and he's presenting to her, hey, why don't we just move together? She's like, no, I want to get married. So then you're kind of at odds there. And so if she's saying, well, it's been 3 years, why haven't you proposed? And now she's feeling wanting to put the pressure on him to propose. So in that instance, things do get a little complicated.
Well, here's what I will say by researching this topic. Go into it if the relationship is moving, and when it's moving towards that direction where it's becoming more of a serious relationship. You know that. You know it here, and you know it here, right?
Yeah.
But as it's getting, have that conversation.
Yeah.
Communicate. And then if you, lady or man, because sometimes it comes from the man.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It comes from the man. Have reasonable time frames.
Yes.
Have reasonable
that's
time
right.
frames. If you want to get married,
but what's reasonable for me may not be reasonable.
Well, exactly,
Yeah.
but that's why you have to communicate.
Yeah.
So if you're looking to say, you know what, I want to you're telling your girlfriend,
Yeah.
I want him to propose to me in 3 years.
Yeah.
Well, you need to communicate that to him.
Yes.
Because if 3 years roll around and he doesn't, now you're salty and bitter.
Yep, that's right.
Don't do that to yourself.
No,
Don't set
no.
yourself up for failure.
Yeah.
So if you want him to propose, talk to him.
Yes.
See where his thoughts are,
Mhm.
and see where his heart is, and right,
That's
and
right.
find out. And then if it's that direction, say, I think I want to get married in 3 years.
Yeah.
And then if not,
Then
you got to do
you
something
gotta,
different.
yeah, you gotta do something different. And it's okay to, maybe that's not the person God had planned for you. Maybe it's something we want, but that's not God's plan. And that happened to me years ago when I wanted this person so much. I just knew he was my soulmate, that we were gonna get married. But things didn't work out.
Yeah.
And I was heartbroken, but you know what? I thank God he didn't answer my prayer. There are some prayers I'm grateful God did not answer.
You know what? It's funny.
Very
you
grateful.
say that because our pastor Cosby, we go to church at Willa Avenue Baptist Church, 3826 Willa Avenue, where Marcus D. Cosby is our pastor. Just talked about, can you praise God when he tells you no?
No. If he tells you no,
Can you praise God when he tells you no?
Yes.
So when those unanswered prayers, can you say thank you?
Yes.
Or be patient and
be
wait.
patient and wait and understand that God knows what's best for you and
Yes.
he wants what's best for you.
Yes.
That's exactly it.
Because you may not, there have been plenty of situations where it may not look like it's working out for your good,
Yeah.
but you just have to trust that it
That's
will work
right.
out for your good,
That's
where
right.
he gets the glory,
He gets the glory.
right?
Yeah.
So just be mindful of that.
I know.
Sometimes those unanswered prayers are really answered
and
prayers.
are a blessing. Yes.
Yes.
And even when you don't see God working, you still keep trusting God, even when you can't trace God's hand. Continue to trust him because all things work together.
For the good.
That's right.
For those who love him.
And who are called.
Yeah, so you
for his
have to
purpose.
be patient
and wait on God.
and use discernment.
Yes.
And
What's that scripture? Be still and wait on God.
be still and wait.
Yeah. It's
just-
easier said than done, but
It really
that's what
is.
we have to
It
do.
really is.
So, but we're talking from a place of experience.
Yeah.
We're not just giving you guys advice or, inspiration here without knowing or without going through what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So we've both been there. We've had skin in the game. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
and one thing I want to touch on before we wrap up is, what about the women? Because things have changed. Things are so different. We're in a different time now. There are women who are actually proposing to men. How do you feel about that? Ladies, how do you feel about proposing to a man?
I just came across this on an old episode of Chicago PD
Oh, okay.
where
You love the drama.
I do.
I do too.
I do. And Haley proposed to Jay.
Oh,
But eventually he came back around to proposing. But this now and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think that's biblical though, where the man has to propose to a woman.
It says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing, not she who finds a husband. So I agree in that sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I would never, and I'm a bold, courageous person, but that's just not me to propose to anyone. Yeah.
You know, I mean,
He'll be waiting.
traditionally, I would not want a woman to propose to me.
You wouldn't. If you
I wouldn't.
became single again, would it turn you off or?
Well, see, now I'm not even going to speak into that.
No, I'm just saying, if you were single, hypothetically, I mean, would it turn you off, do you think, or?
It's hard to tell.
It's hard to say.
But being a traditionalist,
Yeah.
I would
Conservative.
want to propose to the woman.
You would rather do it.
Yeah, I would
than-
rather do it.
Yeah.
And I believe women would rather to be proposed to.
Yeah, but like I
really
said,
do.
there are some aggressive women, even asking men out. Sometimes men don't even, all they have to do is pick up the phone and answer. And she's like, hey, I want to take you out. Hey, I want to buy you dinner. Hey. So a lot of times it's just the roles are shifting. The roles are changing.
Sure.
And women are being more aggressive because we are now more independent financially. So
Yeah.
women feel that they don't have to sit and wait for a man to take action. They want to do it themselves.
They want to turn into the Teddy Pendergrass. Take them off.
Take them off. Turn off the lights.
Turn off.
Close the door. I don't want to be the dominant in a relationship. That's just, yeah. I think it's out of balance. And listen, when anything's out of balance, I mean, it is not lining up with the will of God.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, okay. Well, you have any last thoughts before we wrap up?
Ladies. If you're in a situation and the man wants to move in, I want you to get real close to him. So close where you can just say no. In fact, not only say no,
Say hell no.
say like old girl from Get Out. No. No.
Make them work for
And
it.
especially if he has less than you.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you.
But even if he has more than you still don't have to lower your standards.
Right.
My whole show is about empowerment, right?
Right.
And enrichment. You don't have to lower your standards just to stay in a relationship. Because if he really loves you, he's going to do the right thing
That's
anyway.
right. That's right.
Right?
That's right.
In God's eyes,
That's right.
he
That's
is.
right.
Because he's going to be concerned about pleasing God.
Yeah, well, take us out.
Okay, well, we had a really great show.
We
I
did.
enjoyed it. This was a lot of fun. Our audience was quiet. I think they're gearing up for the Democratic National Convention. I think that's what they're tuning into.
They're right here.
Are they here?
I think a lot
Oh,
of
we
them,
do have a lot of viewers.
I think a lot of them are guilty. And
Guilty as charged.
I think a lot of them are guilty and don't want to give up the goods on live radio, live YouTube, live Instagram, because they were
These
here.
may be listening.
We've had close to 200 people tuned in,
Whoa.
and I don't understand why y'all are so quiet.
Y'all are so quiet. Clap. Come on. At least give us something. Show us some love here.
But I really do think a lot of them are guilty, and if I'm wrong, give us a call in.
I know, and let us know.
Something.
That we
I mean,
got,
because
yeah.
this
Better hurry up,
was-
'cause we got a few
We
seconds.
got 1 minute.
This was a hot topic tonight. The topic was,
Yes.
would you shack up or have you shacked up in the past with someone? If you don't know, maybe that's what it is. Maybe they don't know what shacked up means.
I think we clearly defined
I
it.
don't know.
Yeah.
Shack,
Take us out. Take us out.
let's take us out, y'all. We're gonna
Yeah.
take us out. We're gonna see y'all next week
Yeah.
on the Putting You Back Together Again show.
Yes.
The lady on camera right now is the owner of Putting You Back Together Again LLC. She is a life coach, a transformational life coach. Go and give her pages a follow on all social media platforms at Putting You Back Together Again LLC, as I'm about to put on the screen right
Yes.
there.
Yes.
Everybody, go and give her a follow. This is her show, and her trusted co-host to her right.
Yes, sir.
His
To
name
my left.
to her left, I'm sorry, is CJ. Y'all go and give him a follow at I am CJ Joseph. He is an actor, performer, producer, and MC, and a voiceover radio host right here at Real Talk 100 Radio.
Yes.
Do y'all have anything else to say to end the show? I just wanted to make sure they know who you
Yes,
are.
Yes. Okay. So shacking up has become so normalized in today's society. In fact, the number of unmarried adults living with a partner in the U.S. jumped 75% in the over 50 age group between 2007 and 16. So that's an alarming increase there. We used to hear our grandparents and great-grandparents frown upon shacking up, but values for the elderly have changed significantly. Things are not the same anymore. But one thing that hasn't changed and will never shift is God's word. And in 1 Corinthians, the word says, but if they cannot contain, let them marry, for it is better to marry than to burn. And we don't want to say burn, baby, burn, like the song, right? So draw closer to God, meditate on his word before making your next move. So that does it for us, you guys.
Yes.
We love you. Be sure to love yourself. Follow us on social media and be blessed. We'll see you next time.
Peace out.
Love you.
1, 2,